what has come to light is that it is not so surprising for a lot of people that there are covens amongst the very educated class, architects, doctors, lawyers, priests, brokers, and the leisure class. And they lead perfectly normal lives. They're jewel merchants, they travel, they're prominent in their own way, but they do have this indulgence. It is very not easy to understand, except when you talk with them, when they let their hair down and peel grapes, as we say, and when they're on their way to being cured of what or healed is the proper word. You find that there's an exhilaration and a satisfaction which is both sensual and sexual and mental when they really indulge in Luciferian worship. There is a peculiar exhilaration.
Like a drug, then?
Yes, it's a peculiar exhilaration. And of course, the godly instincts in us all, the angelic in us all, because we all have something angelic and something godly, besides everything else, a lot of other negative things, that is quenched. And you find in them a horror of anything what we call sacred and holy or sacrosanct, or the idea of the sacred, of the awesome. Perfect possession is consequent on a very conscious step, consciously taken step. It's not something that's implicit. The perfectly possessed, through a certain graduation, it's a gradual thing. It's not suddenly overnight. The devil doesn't appear in the morning with a scroll and say, sign this and your 50 years of happiness, and then you come to hell with me. The
Yes.
Faustian picture, Aristophanes.
Yeah, Hollywood.
That's right, and Goethe's play, the Faust. It's not that. It's a gradual thing where the person slowly but surely concedes, surrenders their will, every fiber of their will, and therefore of their being, and acquiesce totally in it, and are rewarded by their master, and utterly conscious. There's nothing implicit about it. There's nothing, it isn't slid by them. But the total surrender and acceptance of Luciferian being, because that's what takes place in the perfectly possessed, that is something that cannot be done implicitly or overnight or by accident or be slipped into your life without you knowing it. Oh, no.
Are there cases in which a possession is not obvious?
That's right. When you find the typical things of somebody throwing themselves on the ground or cursing and spitting and protesting and
Yes.
defecating, urinating, and all sorts of protest. What they're doing is protesting, saying, help me.
Yes.
Help me. The perfectly possessed, we call them, the perfectly possessed, are those that are completely at peace. And I've known several of the perfectly possessed, and I avoid them like the pest. And you know them only by almost accidental means. Sometimes they're perfectly normal, by the way, and they've got great business property. They're married, they have children and wives, and they put down responsible jobs. There's nothing wrong there. Now and again, just now and again, it's as it were a veil is drawn aside, and you see somebody you don't know at all. You just don't know this person, this man, this woman. And there's a completely alien look, a completely alien attitude, and they breathe alienation. And you know then, if you have a nose for it, you know then that they're perfectly possessed and there's nothing to be done about it.
In other words, their pact, their deal, they are at peace with and comfortable with their deal.
Right. That's right. And they have passed through the usual Satanist rituals too. The three Satanist rituals: the power of inflicting pain, the power of hating, and the power of burning fire. Fire is part of the Satanist and the Luciferian development. And they've passed through all those with flying colors.
Aren't Father Martin talked of persons perfectly possessed by the devil?
Yes.
You can ignore this question, Father, if you wish. In the opinion of Father Martin, is Bill Clinton perfectly possessed?
No comment.